Hey, Lauren here, wanting to talk to you today about when to break the rules of sex. I did a post about this last year, but I found that I had so many rules that I wanted to help you to break that I needed to do a second blog post in the same theme. So, rules are very dangerous because they can hold us back from what we truly want. And sometimes those rules about sex, especially in long term relationships, are really subtle and silent, and we're doing things or not doing things in sex because we think that there's some code that we might be um, dishonoring if we do things a little bit differently. So, in this time of questioning, I find that there's so much sweet liberation in reading lots of different things that give us permission to do things differently against the status quo, against the grain. And that a lot of the truths and what we're looking for and the answers is actually in the opposite of what we originally presumed. So if you're feeling like you don't really get sex, then there may be some silent rules floating around that are holding you back. So try some of these on for size and see if there are some rules that you need to break to help you move on and feel free of anxiety. So, rule number one, and this is one that I really, really, really want to break, that's why it's first: anal sex must be conquered and enjoyed. No, you don't have to do anal sex. You don't even have to try anal sex if you don't want to. Your asshole is a dynamic pleasure zone that's full of nerve endings, and it can certainly mix things up when you play with it, but you don't ever have to do that. Your anus provides a sense of containment to our bodies if it's gently penetrated, but it doesn't mean that that needs to be full-blown anal sex. That's a really big decision, and it's not something to ever be pressured into. It's more, if you're curious, to warm up to it and to play with different forms of external touch and gentle little forms of penetration before you go to that point in your sex life, because your yes is number one. So you don't have to try anal sex, you don't have to do anything to do with your anus if you feel really inhibited and uncomfortable about it. So a term I prefer when it comes to the anus is to use anal play, because it signifies that it can be external and it can be small and it can be light and it can be fun. So if there's a yes there for you, just start with some external massaging with plenty of oil and just very, very gentle pressure. You'll know from that point whether you feel a sense of wanting to proceed or if you want it to stop there. Rule number two: foreplay is a must for all women every time. Foreplay is wonderful. It gets us warmed up for sex and interested, and some of our arousal networks flowing. But you don't always have to do it if you're feeling like you're really ripe during ovulation, or if you've got a new partner where you feel like there's been enough mental foreplay and your body's just ready to go there. So those dopamine highs that we can experience in a new relationship can really make up for warming up in sex with lots of different types of touch. The third rule is that monogamy and commitment signals the end of your sexual growth and fun. No, no, no. Monogamy isn't confinement. It's a choice that we choose every day. It's a boundary that calls for creativity, for deeper exploration, and embarking on independent and dual searches for pleasure. So it's a chance for us to ask ourselves, what do I need for my own sexuality to thrive? And what is it that I can do to contribute to our sex life together? Because you're both going to change and grow, and your sex life is going to change and grow. And that's really exciting. It does not have to spell boredom at all. Rule number four is that your body and sex aren't the same after birth, so enjoy sex while you can. I'll let you in on a little secret as a mama to two girls, and I've had two vaginal deliveries. Sex probably won't be the same after birth, because it can be better. This sense of liberation and power that I've felt through my body, through those processes, it's unquantifiable. So it's meant that I feel more empowered in sex because of my renewed connection to my body and what it's done and what it's achieved. So it's really a mindset shift from having the focus on what isn't or what's changed to what kind of new power you've tapped into, and your new secret weapon of knowing your body on a much, much deeper level than you did before you had children, regardless of how you gave birth. So really, really shift your mind in that zone of like ownership and womanhood and mamahood being a fuck yes rather than a no, this isn't enough, or I used to be more. Forget that. And I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Rule number 5 is that sex has a distinct start and finish. The truth is that it doesn't. The way that you carry yourself in your day-to-day life, what you choose to do before and after sex is all still a part of sex. Your whole life will come up and be reflected in your sex life because there are so many parallels there. If you eat fast, work fast, drive fast, you probably have fast sex as well, especially for us anxious high achievers as well. So that mirror there means that we have lots of little things that happen in our life that give us an opportunity to acknowledge how we're honouring our sex life even when we're not having penetrative sex. So it's really powerful if you look at all the times you and your partner touch with maybe a sensual or erotic kind of tone to it, and allow all those little moments to feed into your overall sex life. So just 30 seconds of touch can be something that kind of goes into the piggy bank of your sex life. It doesn't have to be, this is when we took our clothes off and this is when we got out of the bed. It's I find that this way it feels like sex blends into your life more rather than is an obligation that is kind of blocked out in your life. The blending version feels far more liberating to me. So rules of sex, break them, be a rebel, give yourself permission to own your unique sex life, whatever it is, and keep the focus on pleasure. Keep the focus on what feels good. Keep the focus on the two of you and drop the comparisons to what other people are doing or what you think they're doing. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope it gives you a taste of freedom. See you next time.